visuals of Captain Shiva Chauhan of the Indian Army, the first female officer deployed at the Siachen Glacier.
BJP responds, right? It's not interested in a conversation. They've decided that they know what's going on. Nobody else in the country understands what's going on. And that's it. Contest in India has completely changed. And the reason it's changed, one organization called the RSS, fundamentalist fascist organization, has basically captured pretty much all of India's institutions.
सरकार को गाली देते रहते हैं, मोदी जी को गाली देते रहते हैं और जो सबसे ज़्यादा बोलते हैं वही बोलते हैं कि बोलने नहीं दिया जा रहा है.
Ask the Congress National President Mr. Kharge, do you support shameful comment of Rahul Gandhi that America and Europe must intervene in India to restore democracy?
You're watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. Rahul Gandhi continues to escalate the attack against the centre from the United Kingdom. Interacting with members of the British Parliament, Rahul Gandhi once again hit out at the BJP, accusing it of seeking to hold power eternally. He called the RSS a fascist organisation which has captured multiple democratic institutions, comparing it to the Muslim Brotherhood. Rahul Gandhi said the RSS aims to eradicate democracy in India. He also accused the BJP of muzzling dissent in India, saying the threat to democracy in the country should now be a global concern. Before this, he called the BJP a group of ideological cowards and called on United States and European nations to take note of the threat to democracy in India. During a lecture at the Cambridge University, without citing any evidence, Rahul Gandhi accused the BJP of using Israeli spyware, Pegasus, to snoop on him via his phone. The BJP has hit back at Rahul Gandhi, with Union Law Minister Kiran Rijiju reminding the Congress MP of the 1975 emergency imposed by former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. It seems Rahul Gandhi's attacks have failed to rally the opposition once again. Sources also reveal that the Aam Aadmi Party, the Trinamool Congress and the Samajwadi Party have taken a decision to distance themselves from Rahul Gandhi's comments. These attacks come ahead of the crucial elections on the road to 2024. Does Rahul Gandhi feel he can damage the BJP with these attacks from foreign soil? Is this a concerted political strategy or Rahul Gandhi airing his political frustrations for failing to take on the Modi juggernaut in the election arena? First, let's listen in to what the Congress MP's latest attacks are.
If you look at the time from independence to now, the Congress party has been in power for majority of the time, right? So it's not that the BJP has been in power. Before the BJP was in power for 10 years, we were in power for 10 years, right? And so it's not, I mean, the BJP likes to believe that they've come to power in India and they're going to be in power eternally. That's not the case, right? One organization called the RSS, fundamentalist fascist organization, has basically captured pretty much all of India's institutions. RSS is you can call it a secret society. It's built along the lines of the Muslim Brotherhood. And the idea is to use the democratic contest to come to power and then subvert the democratic contest afterwards. The way the BJP responds, right? It's not interested in a conversation. They've decided that they know what's going on. Nobody else in the country understands what's going on. And that's it. And this is visible. I mean, you can ask any opposition party.
Joining me here in the studio is Shehzad Poonawalla, BJP spokesperson. Arshpreet Kadial is Congress spokesperson. We have Professor Madhav Nalapat, senior journalist and vice chair of Manipal Advanced Research Group. We also have Professor Kapil Kumar, historian. Before I bring in the politicians, I want to understand from you, Professor Kapil Kumar, is the Indian democracy so fragile that a criticism of this nature from Rahul Gandhi can demean it?
Maria, first of all, let me say that it is because of the strength of Indian democracy that Rahul Gandhi makes such statements every day. The very country, China, which he praises, if he wants to understand what democracy is and what fascism is, then let him take the citizenship of China for 10 days and go out of China and speak the way he is talking about India today outside, about China. He will know what democracy and what fascism is. That is the first thing I'd like to say on this. Secondly, he's saying that Indian things are like secret society. Will he spell out the secret treaty which his party has done with the Chinese Communist Party? Even your Congress Pravakta sitting here will not know a single clause of that. But now we are clear that one clause is very clear to us, that this is the understanding between Congress and the Chinese Communist Party, that whenever Rahul has to go abroad, he has to praise China and he has to condemn India, which has become very clear. He talked of earlier of China having a very good attitude towards its neighbors, and at the same time he accuses that India's so many thousands of kilometers land is with China. Tell me a single neighbor whose land China has not usurped,
Okay, Professor,
whose economy China has not tried to
let
ruin.
me also bring in Professor Nalapat and try and understand from him about the reservations that he has. Is it similar to what the BJP is saying, that Rahul Gandhi must first explain his own attendance in Parliament before he, attacks the ruling government? Because if anything, it's if he doesn't take his own parliamentary participation seriously, then why should the government take his views seriously?
Maria, Rahul Gandhi is an adult when I last checked. So he's at liberty to go to Parliament for as many days or as little days as he wants. But my only worry about all these tirades about Rahul Gandhi, if anybody takes him seriously, and the information I have from the UK is that, frankly, very few people are really taking these words seriously. They come to India, they don't see at all what Rahul Gandhi is describing. But the point is, today, India is in the same situation historically as China was in the 1980s. China got a tremendous amount of benefit from the Cold War between USSR and the US. Today, there's a new Cold War. We can't deny it. And that's between the US on the one hand, other democracies, and China. India is ideally suited to get a lot of benefit from this new Cold War, the way China got in that first Cold War and developed itself. Now, the way Rahul Gandhi is talking, I mean, it's a way of trying. I mean, it's, poor chap. I don't think he has any intention of that. It's just that whatever script has been given to him, I don't know why they've given it to him.
Okay.
The fact
so you are essentially saying that this is part of a larger narrative that the Congress party wishes to build.
No.
And
this is not. I'm saying that this will help Vietnam, it will help Thailand, it will help Indonesia, and China most of all, because China is paranoid about its factories shifting to India.
Okay.
They don't mind going,
Okay,
if they're going
fine.
to Indonesia.
Ashpreet Kadial
Thailand, Vietnam.
and Shehzad Poonawala now. Poonawala now. Ashpreet, the democratization of free speech is what we are seeing right now because of the digital media and the social media. If anything, thousands and lakhs of people take to social media, the Congress leaders do the same, and all of them question various institutions. Rahul Gandhi himself has travelled all over the country because of his Bharat Jodo Yatra, has questioned the Modi government at multiple rallies, continues to attack the government in parliament in his speeches as well. Recently, he did that when there was a discussion on vote of thanks of the president. Then why is he saying that there is some kind of muzzling of voices of the opposition? Where is that muzzling of voices?
Great. Thank you. Kindly allow me a minute and a half uninterrupted. First, you had two questions here that you had a Bharat Jodo Yatra happening and you were able to address all the issues, etc., etc. No. There also the Bharatiya Janata Party tried to curtail our freedom of speech and expression when they wrote a letter exclusively to Bharat Jodo Yatra and to Mr. Gandhi that please, do not carry out this Yatra, you are doing this and that. And Mr. Modi even wore a mask in the parliament in the morning. And in the evening when he goes for a wedding, there is no mask that Mr. Modi wears. And number two, at the same time, simultaneously, there was another Yatra that the Bharatiya Janata Party was taking out. There were campaigns that the BJP was doing, road shows that they were doing, rallies that they were taking out, massive rallies, but there was no letter shot to them. Number two,
so you said that
in the parliament, you talked of the parliament.
Ashpreet, did it stop the Congress party? Did you cut short your entire Bharat Jodo Yatra?
It is a matter of attempt by the Bharatiya Janata Party.
So you're saying there was an attempt at muzzling. Fine, go ahead.
Very, very much. Number two, you talked of the parliament. You would remember that in the parliament, Mr. Gandhi talked of the Adani issue. Our words were expunged. Our statements were done away with. Our mics get muted. We do not get equal opportunities. And the Bharatiya Janata Party basically does not, let us exercise our freedom of speech and expression. Otherwise, they register FIRs against us. And as a matter of fact, there is no opposition party in India that does not have an IT, ED, CBI, SEBI case pending against them. Whether it be Mamata Banerjee's nephew Abhishek Banerjee, M.K. Stalin's daughter, Sharad Pawar, Charanjit Channi, Arvind Kejriwal, and as a matter of fact, the media channels as well. You see the BBC, before that the NDTV, before that the Quint, before that Dainik Bhaskar, before that Alt News.
Let me bring in Shehzad now. Shehzad, the point here is also of the cases against the opposition leaders. Shouldn't that be seen as muzzling of voices? But one view is that during the UPN, there is data that is available. The number of cases that were registered by the investigating agencies against the opposition party leaders was far less than what is being done this time around against the opposition. So if anything, it is being linked to, if you speak, this is what you get.
There are three questions I need to address, yours being the last one. Just give me 20 seconds for my opening comment. First, the problem we have with Rahul Gandhi is not that he goes abroad and he badmouths the BJP, but he has sought on record intervention of a foreign power into affairs of India. That's a compromise of our national sovereignty. Like I explained yesterday, he's done it before with Nicholas Burns, etc. And this is an affront to our democracy, and 75 years of independence, you go and seek those who ruled us for 200 years to intervene in our democracy. That's the real problem. Can the Congress justify that? Point number two, Mr. Rahul Gandhi said there is a complete institutional capture, and therefore I want to ask the spokesperson of Rahul Gandhi specifically and not go idhar-udhar. Is the current Chief Justice of India a reflection of that institutional capture by the RSS, or is the current Chief Justice of India, whose verdict you were celebrating 3 days ago, out of the institutional capture of the RSS? Because it can't be that if the verdict goes my way, it is good, the institution is fine. If the verdict is against me, then the institution is compromised. This conditional commitment to democracy shouldn't be the case. Now coming to your question, Maria, you have covered Congress, BJP, all of our parties for so many years. 2004 to 14, who were the cases against? SP, BSP, Congress, NCP, DMK, same parties. Today also the cases are against the same parties. Inka charitra hai, whether in power or out of power, to do corruption. But let me answer specifically. Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi's case started by Subramaniam Swamy's private complaint to a court. Court ordered trial against them. They got no relief from Supreme Court. Satyendra Jain, 9 months in jail. They have got no relief from court. Manish Sisodia went up to Supreme Court. No relief from court. Vijay Nair went up to highest court. No relief from court. Nawab Malik has been kept in jail because he went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court said no, we are not going to interfere. And the trial court said that Nawab Malik prima facie has links with Dawood Ibrahim gang, please tell me that if courts give orders against you, chalo, you say ED is compromised, CB is compromised, selective, all of these 8.5 years, they have not been able to prove even one instance of caged parrot. But if courts are not giving you relief, then is the court compromised? The same court's verdict to have been celebrated. But I want a specific answer on the institutional.
Yes, this point, if the electoral outcomes or the verdict that you expect from the judiciary is favorable, then the institutions aren't compromised. But if the verdict goes otherwise, then it becomes compromised. How fair is that argument?
Thank you. Now let's see as to how the Bharatiya Janata Party has compromised the institutions. As a matter of fact, this very government and the Home Minister of India, Mr. Amit Shah, including 6 more cabinet ministers, go and discuss the government policy with the RSS. That is the number one point where you can categorically see that this government has
but how
done away.
the RSS is a cultural organization and happens to be associated with the BJP, and BJP leaders have not shied away in explaining about their association with RSS and their deep roots in that institution. So how are the two relationships being seen the way you are saying?
So now the government policies, before they are implemented, are to be discussed with the RSS. That is how it should be done, and that is all right. Well, if that's what you deem fit, then perhaps that is the new democracy of India, which has been turned into Danda Tantar and Bhay Tantar. The problem here is that we have freedom of speech and expression under Article 19, Clause 1, Sub-Clause A, that the Bharatiya Janata Party is completely forgotten. You're not allowed to speak
if
in
I may
India.
just intervene, because I want to just ask
I'd
that
have to
having a
interrupt you,
civil
sir,
society
rather than
conversation with a group
So
which is
therefore,
active
when
in
you're
political,
not allowed
public
to
life,
speak
social
in
life
India,
is an
the
affront.
Bharatiya
But
Janata
having
Party does
NAC,
not even
which was
want us
given
to talk
undue
abroad.
status
So
of being
with that, it is a
body of
matter of
statutory
fact
importance,
that an
where all the
attacking
decisions of the Prime
did not
Minister
do
were
anything
going to
about
the
it.
NAC
There was
to be
no
checked
probe,
and verified,
there
and
was
then
no
that
action,
interference,
there was
when
no
even
IT,
files were being taken to
CBI
the offices
that,
of some
but when a
leaders,
leader of
was
the
that
Congress
constitutional?
Party has
Was
a
that
slip of
arrangement
tongue
constitutional?
to register
Having
an
civil
FIR
society
against him
conversation
without
with one of
giving
the
a legal
foremost
notice to
cultural
arrest him,
organizations
without
and
telling the
organizations which
grounds
are
of
doing
detention
nationalistic job
to detain him.
is an affront
And
to
after that, we
democracy.
get a
But
Supreme
having a
we get
discussion with
report
all
out of the
other
Supreme
groups in
Court,
making
and you
policy
still
is
would like
fine.
to say
This
that
is the
there is
double
no abuse
standards
of
of
power that
Mr.
is happening.
Khadial and Rahul Gandhi.
95% of the cases that have been registered in India by the CBI are against opposition parties.
Because you
95%
indulge in corruption, the answer is so
conviction
simple.
rate
Ashpreet, what's the difficulty in
is
understanding that?
0.05%. The enforcement directorate's conviction rate is 0.05%.
Let me come on this. Let me come on this also.
Goes on to suggest
You said,
that if you register 100 cases,
Arshdeep,
only one goes on to
you
face
can't go on a
conviction.
rant like
That
Rahul.
is how,
You have to also listen. You asked me a question, I'll
fair
answer the question.
And impartial.
You said the conviction. I don't think you understood
Okay,
the
Ashpreet,
of arguments
since you have asked the question on conviction, let him respond, and then I bring the two panelists
on this
as well.
conviction, let me
Yes,
show
please,
how
quickly.
hollow their argument is. Before 2014, ED convictions, 0, nil, null, Sannata, and now 23. So please have some facts. Don't speak and prove that you are a spokesperson of Rahul Gandhi. Please speak with some facts at your disposal. It will be better for you and your party.
Can you name this fabricated report?
Fabricated report, it's published in the Times of India. Unless you think the Times of India is a
the
rag
report?
paper
What's the
and
name
you
of
just
the report?
quoted Quint and I
Name
don't know
the
Wire
report.
and all
Name
kinds of
the report.
publications, but you
Name
don't want
the
to believe the
report.
Times of India. I'll show you the
Please
clipping
name the
also. I
report.
keep every
I don't want
fact
to
with
see,
me.
I
Don't
don't want
worry
to see
about
a
it.
news channel's report. I want to see the
Okay, let me bring in Professor Madhav Nalapat.
Yeah.
Professor Madhav Nalapat, you say that
Yes,
you have
the report.
spoken to some people in UK and they do not take the words of Rahul Gandhi seriously.
Is this a
Then
credible
why,
report?
then
You
why,
talk of a headline
why is the current
as if it
government
was some
and the
credible
BJP
agency's report?
getting so worried about his words? Ignore it?
Maria, I can't speak for the BJP. For example, they banned that BBC documentary. I frankly don't see any reason for banning that documentary, and maybe some various other things. Rahul Gandhi has been regularly making the same tour. Cambridge University, Chatham House, the Labour Party. He has been doing this year after year after year. Possibly the same group of friends has been, facilitating this year after year. My only point is, for heaven's sake, don't throw the baby with the bathwater. You're trying to give an impression of India as a country that you should not, invest in, a country that is hopeless, a country that is beyond redemption, so long as a group of people who are elected are in power. I mean, suggest alternative policies, suggest things like that. But
Yes.
for heaven's sake,
Yes.
don't try and
Professor
damage
Kapil
the
Kumar,
investment
one
climate
may
of
say
this country.
if anything, what is evident at present is that the subaltern have got voice, that the voiceless are in positions where they can be seen as important, being involved in the entire decision making process. And let's be clear, we are seeing a democracy which is clearly expanding its dissent and arguments. At this point, if Rahul Gandhi is making the argument, he is only actually saying that he is a dissenting voice, so be it.
Oh, absolutely, there's no problem in that. He can say whatever
Yes,
he
that's
likes.
what Professor Kapil
But
Kumar,
going
yes.
into 66
Yes,
years,
yes.
if you think in 7 years, the whole 66 years of the past have been obliterated completely, well, you have a very fragile view of India.
Okay,
Sorry,
Professor Kapil
that's
Kumar.
not the correct view of India.
Okay.
You see, a person who says there is nothing like India, nation, it's a federation, forgets that his own Nehru was writing the discovery of India. Why do they say that the Congress struggled for the freedom of India? Why they call it freedom struggle of India? This is his mental level of knowledge. And today what he is doing, I pity the intellectuals in Cambridge and Oxford now, like Imran Khan moves with a katora or Pakistani leaders move with a katora world over. Give us money, give us money. This man, gone insane with the lust of power, is moving with a katora world over. Get me power in India. US intervene. England intervene.
Professor
Democracy
Kapil
has been
Kumar,
killed.
Professor Madhav
Had
Nalapal,
democracy
Shehzad
been killed
Poonawala
in
here in
India,
the studio.
we would have
Narshpreet
been-
Kadi, I'll really appreciate your time. Earlier today, I spoke to the senior advisor to the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Kanchan Gupta, who accused Rahul Gandhi of demeaning India abroad. He also said that he cannot complain about dissent in India if he himself has a poor attendance record in Parliament. Listen in. What exactly is your grouse against Rahul Gandhi for raising his criticisms or raising his concerns regarding institutions of India and democracy in general when he's traveling abroad?
No, I have no personal issue with him. But what is extremely upsetting is that he is not only an elected member of parliament from the constituency of Wayanad in Kerala, but he's also a senior leader of the Congress, and for him to be on foreign soil and denigrate India's parliament, demean India's parliament in this manner is unacceptable, and it needed to be called out, because he was speaking to a foreign audience, and that audience is totally ignorant about how parliament functions, what are the details of Rahul Gandhi's participation in the functioning of parliament, how many times has he participated in debates or raised questions. So the whole purpose is to put out the data in the public space and let people decide.
Okay.
I mean,
but Mr. Gupta, Indian Parliament has over 750 MPs and Rahul Gandhi is one of them. And most opposition leaders may be voicing something that Rahul Gandhi has said, which is with regards to free speech. And why exactly are you linking his attendance to what he has said there?
Maria, please look at the data I have shared, and this is not some secret data, it is publicly available data. Anybody, anywhere in the world can access it. Now, what is the first set of numbers I have put out? That, how many people attend parliament? And if you look at the sheer attendance of Rahul Gandhi, it is 52%, whereas the average for the state which he represents, Kerala, is 84%, and the national average is 79%. I have shared data to show that session after session he has recorded zero attendance. Now let's come to, you raised a point that, how does it show that opposition is allowed to participate and opposition actually participates. Now, if you look at the debates which have happened in Parliament between 2019 and 2023, Rahul Gandhi has participated only in 6 debates. Kerala's averages, for MPs, his fellow MPs from Kerala, they have participated in 68.2 debates. Now, the BJP or its allies, they do not have a single MP in Kerala. All the MPs from Kerala are actually opposition MPs, whether they are from the UDF or from the LDF. Now they are there in Parliament participating in debates. The national average is 41. And how many debates has Rahul Gandhi participated in? 6. So forget the national participation, even if you look at the state participation. So that sort of takes care of your point, that how does it show that the opposition is participating?
Okay, Mr. Kanchan Gupta, on one hand, the BJP and the government constantly makes this argument that electoral debacles of the Congress party is an indication that Rahul Gandhi's words really do not matter, and that his words do not really have that much of weight that the people of India in states that they do not rule or govern take him seriously. Then why is the government and the BJP taking his words so seriously?
I come back to where I began, that you do not do certain things while on foreign soil. This is not about denigrating the government of the day. This is not about demeaning the government of the day. This is about denigrating the Parliament of India. This is about demeaning India's parliamentary democracy. And frankly, I don't expect the people he addressed at Cambridge or the people he spoke to at Chatham House or the so-called journalists of the local journalists association he spoke to. They are aware of these details.
Would be that you have to have a free and fair democracy, and that's only possible if the BJP is ousted.
Absolutely. Pallavi, thank you so much for joining us and for giving us that crucial context in this story. Rahul Gandhi has once again targeted the central government on foreign soil. While addressing an in-conversation session at the Chatham House think tank in London, Rahul Gandhi has made a huge claim that the Bharatiya Janata Party likes to believe it will be in power in India eternally, and to say that the Congress is gone is a ridiculous idea. Rahul even attacked the central government for capturing all of the institutions. He said that the RSS is a fundamental fascist organization which has captured all of the institutions. Meanwhile, Union Minister Kiran Rijiju has hit back at Rahul Gandhi, reminding him about the 1975 emergency that was imposed by then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Rijiju said in India, democracy can't be overthrown. There was an attempt, however, in 1975 when an emergency was in force, but the constitution at that point had prevailed.
If you look at the time from independence to now, the Congress party has been in power for majority of the time, right? So it's not that the BJP has been in power. Before the BJP was in power for 10 years, we were in power for 10 years, right? And so it's not, I mean, the BJP likes to believe that they've come to power in India and they're going to be in power eternally. That's not the case, right? One organization called the RSS, fundamentalist fascist organization, has basically captured pretty much all of India's institutions. RSS is you can call it a secret society. It's built along the lines of the Muslim Brotherhood. And the idea is to use the democratic contest to come to power and then subvert the democratic contest afterwards. The way the BJP responds, right? it's not interested in a conversation. They've decided that they know what's going on. Nobody else in the country understands what's going on. And that's it. And this is visible. I mean, you can ask any opposition party.
In India, democracy cannot be overthrown because Indians are inherently democratic. There was one attempt in 1975 when the emergency was imposed, but people of India resisted fiercely. And rule of law, the constitutional law prevailed again. Our government has tried from the day one to ensure that all those unreached people are reached. All those left out people are connected. Every part of our country, every citizen is a beneficiary of every welfare step taken by the government of India.
देश होली का त्योहार मना रहा है। राहुल गांधी जी विदेश यात्रा पर हैं। कोई त्योहार हो तो देश में नहीं विदेश में पाए जाते हैं और विदेशी दोस्त हों, विदेशी एजेंसियां हो या विदेशी जमी हो, देश पर प्रहार करने से कहीं बाज नहीं आते। ये अपने आप में दिखाता है कि वो भारत को बदनाम करने में कहीं पीछे नहीं रह रहे। भ्रम फैलाना, झूठ बोलना, देश के बारे में देखिए आज दुनिया क्या कहती है। यहाँ पे इटली की प्रधानमंत्री आई तो उन्होंने आके कहा मोदी जी की विश्वसनीयता, उनकी लोकप्रियता दुनिया भर में बढ़ रही है, उनकी मांग बढ़ रही है। मोदी जी मेजर लीडर के रूप में दुनिया ने स्वीकारा है।
We're crossing over to CNN News 18's Pallavi Ghosh, who's our senior editor. Pallavi, can you take us through the war of words that's erupting yet again over Rahul's comments made in the United Kingdom?
So as far as Rahul Gandhi goes and the Congress party is but naturally
The Indian military is the backbone of modern India, a truly national and reliable force that has served the nation and the world. From defending our borders, peacekeeping missions, transporting vaccines to defending and saving the armed army from the fury of Mother Earth and nature within the country and beyond borders, the Indian forces have been saviors to billions around the globe. But beyond the heroes and martyrs who sustain the spirit of the military, there are hidden figures, integral and inspirational cogs of the vast infrastructure that sustain this humanitarian and life-saving machine. They are the women of the military who have spread and excelled in multiple branches, making the nation proud with their service. Joining today are 5 such women exemplifying the Nari Shakti that powers New India. Joining me on the show are Captain Shiva Chauhan. She's deployed in Siachen. She joins me live from there. We have Major Ruchi Agarwal, deployed in Congo as part of the UN peacekeeping forces. Captain Diksha, medical officer with Para Special Forces Unit. She's joining me from Clement Town in Uttarakhand. Major Beena Tiwari, of course, part of Operation Dost, which happened in Turkey. We also have Major Abhilasha Barak, Army aviation pilot serving in Jammu and Kashmir. Major Barak, I'm going to begin with you. Being posted in a turbulent region of the world with decades of conflict, what is the experience like?
Like, you know, I've been serving in Kashmir Valley since July 2022, being in an area where there is counter-insurgency and counter-terrorism operations happening every second, every given moment of the day. So it calls for duty 24/7. You know, we have to be battle ready 24/7 and we have to get airborne within 5 minutes. So there is no time for preparation. You need to know the valley at the, like your backyard, at the back of your head. So it is a very active role that we are playing.
Captain Chauhan, I can see you all packed up. Tell us about your own journey in the forces and when you got posted there.
I got posted here. I came on the post on 2nd of January, ma'am. Before that, I had to undergo training in Siachen Battle School in base camp, ma'am. The training was of 28 days and the duration of the posting is of 3 months, ma'am. I have completed 2 months. And regarding this journey, it is the most memorable journey of my life, ma'am, with many of the excitements and the sense of responsibilities and anxiety of unknowns. I got to learn many of the operation and the tactical aspects of the other arms which are deployed in this terrain, ma'am.
Coming to you, Major Tiwari, you became the face of Operation Dost. That picture that went viral was of you, a lady hugging you and telling something in your ears. What was she telling you?
Actually, that was our second day at that hospital setup of ours in Turkey. It was in Hatay. So patients started rushing in, and like there were so many patients coming, and they were all happy to see our hospital setup, and they were kind of very thankful to us for help, for coming for them and helping them in their tough times. So she was there. She was very overwhelmed with our gesture and with the treatment that we were providing them, and she just thanked me and she was kissing me, and she was like through a translator only I got to know that she's saying that she's very thankful and stay here, stay with us, and that is all that she was saying, and she just gave me a kiss for that.
Now I'm going to go to Congo, where Major Ruchi Agarwal is joining us. It is a very special moment where women are working in roles which are not seen as women friendly, which were largely seen as a male bastion for the longest time. How is it working in an infantry unit in a foreign country?
We are working alongside infantry. Definitely, I'm not part of the infantry right now, but yes, my team is working alongside infantry in a supportive role, not in a direct combat role altogether. So definitely, the experience has been quite exceptional and quite extraordinary in its own way. I have, being from my own corps, yes, definitely, I have had an exposure interacting with the officers from infantry and other arms as well. But then working so closely with them, and that this is the first time that yes, I have worked so closely with them. So you can say that definitely initially we had some amount of time spent in the integration, but we very quickly adapted and we started working as a collective force here towards a common goal as peacekeepers. And I'm really fortunate that I have been attached to a battalion which has provided extensive support to me and assisted us in quickly adapting with their environment, and they too adapted with us, and together we are happy that we are working for a goal that we are meant to do, like we are ordained to do here.
Captain Diksha, you are the first women officer in Special Forces. There is always a lot of prestige and responsibility that is attached to being a first. What does this achievement mean for you?
It has been a very eye-opening experience for me. As I'm from a civil background, I didn't have much knowledge about Indian Army. However, my deployment in the field, it made me understand the challenges the soldiers face in those difficult terrain and locations. And from there, I was motivated to join the paratroopers forces. I did my probation in Agra, and then I got selected for SF unit. This is really, it gives me a sense of achievement in my everyday work life.
Absolutely. Major Abhilasha, being a combat aviation pilot, give us a sense of your operation. When did you decide to take this journey, when you could have chosen perhaps an easy route of being a commercial pilot?
See, coming from a military background, I always wanted to be in the Indian Army. And initially, I wanted to be in the Indian Air Force because I always wanted to fly. I always thought, why walk when you can run, and why run when you can fly?
Absolutely.
So aviation was always a passion. And being in the Indian Army and flying one of the best state of art equipment. There's nothing more to it.
Okay, Captain Shiva, tell us more about being deployed there. What is the life like in Siachen for women in particular? Does it get tough for you, or are you one of those who feel that women are very strong mentally and physically, and when they face challenges, they only perform better?
The requirement of army is something different, ma'am. We have to be both mentally and physically robust to serve in such type of terrain, ma'am. And regarding the condition here, ma'am, what all challenges which I as a woman face, ma'am, not to be more specific as women, but as an officer I faced was that the severe cold climatic conditions, and to keep myself and my troops who are under my command fit, ma'am, and prepare themselves and prepare myself for the glaciated terrain, ma'am.
Were you looking forward to this posting? What does it tell you about women in army? Is there a huge transition in the Indian military in general?
Yes, ma'am. It has almost motivated me and the other women officers who are outside to come, and the other women cadets who are aspiring to join the Indian Army, ma'am. But they must understand that the requirement is something different, ma'am. It is not like other civil jobs. It requires like from moving from one place to another. That is what job demands, ma'am. They have to be mentally strong and physically fit.
That's right. Captain Diksha, what about you? Being a woman in a really tough terrain where you are, being part of an operation of that nature, what really drives you?
As a medical officer, the biggest challenge we face in field location is that I shouldn't fall sick, or I shouldn't be incapable of giving my operational duties. As a medical officer, I should be the first one to be acclimatized to that terrain and weather. And I should be operationally active always and every time because I have to look after my men. And even administratively, we should have all those resources available. As a as a female officer, I would say yes, we'll have some additional challenges like menstrual cycles. With some additional resources and determination, I would say we can overcome any challenges.
Major Ruchi, what about challenges that are associated with where you are in Congo?
In Congo, the terrain has slight challenges in the way that when we are functioning here, we are in a foreign soil, so it is unlike our own land where we are familiar with the area. And more so when we are when I'm functioning with infantry here, though I'm in a supportive role, and their role is more, it is a combat role for them. So here there's a lot of frequent movement. The situation is very dynamic. So you are at one location at one for a particular period of time, and immediately you are told to move to go switch to some other location and take charge of that location in the role of a peacekeeper, and obviously the enforcement role as well in the chapter we fall in. So in that scenario, we firstly face the issue of familiarization with the terrain, and definitely you can say here the roads and all are not that well developed, so the time consumed, and yes, it definitely has its fatigue, and lot many other factors are there, which the operational factors which I would not like to discuss here, but then those can always be overcome. So I won't say it is a very big challenge, but yes, slightly a challenge.
And Major Beena, one message that got sent certainly from Operation Dost was that India stands with countries in distress. Rescue and relief after a calamity like an earthquake is extremely tough. It is also distressing when you see hopelessness all around. What were your 10 days in Turkey like?
When we reached there in Turkey, so first initial glimpse, they were very disturbing and very painful, I'll say. So there was just destruction all over the place. And when we reached there, we set up our hospital there. We put our heart and soul just to treat those patients. And suddenly our place, because when we started our hospital there, initially patients were less in number. So gradually they came to us and they saw our hospital setup, they saw the kind of treatment we were providing to them, and they spread the message to others also. And then patients started rushing in, and almost like there was no stopping after that. And all the response from the patient was so overwhelming for us also. They were all blessing us, and there were so many volunteers who came from all across the nation just to help us in translation and treating the patient. So it kind of became a group of people just working for the humanity, and it was very overwhelming for us. And with the response that patients were giving to our treatment, with all the blessings, I'll say that was the motivating factor, that we kept working without thinking for our own comfort. And that's how we were working for 10 days. We saw almost around 3,600 patients, and we were like initial 3-4 days there was no resting in between. And after that we started taking turns, like all the doctors, they divided their duties and we started taking turns. And in all of that, our hospital was running 24/7. I'll just say that.
Yes, of course, there was a visible respect towards India for being the first responder. Major Ruchi, what is the response you get when you interact with people in Congo?
People here actually, they have a lot of respect for the Indian peacekeepers. And when my team, like I am part of the female engagement team, so my role is more to go and interact with the local population here. And they actually look up to us. So the affection you get and the faith they instill in you, that is actually fills you with immense gratification, both personally as well as professionally. And so far, the Indian peacekeepers are concerned, they have actually made a mark in DRC as peacekeepers, and everybody knows them, everybody knows their capabilities, their skills, and even not just the local population. If I talk about the UN altogether, with the other foreign armies as well, we have made our own mark.
And Major Barak, you come from a military background. Does the sense of service come naturally to you? Who is your motivation?
My father, he's a self-made man and he's my biggest motivation. Like my great-grandfather as well was in the Azad Hind Fauj. He served in Burma. My maternal grandfather was in Jat regiment. So it kind of flows in the blood, I believe.
How often do you get to meet or speak to your family?
See, most of my friends have again joined the Indian Army or the Indian Air Force because we shared the same aim. And in my family, my father is a retired colonel now. My mother is a teacher. And I have two brothers, one elder brother, he's also serving the Indian Army, and my younger brother is in college in Punjab University. So since the conditions are pretty normal these days in Kashmir Valley, we get to speak home every day. There is no connectivity issues or the network is down. And even to friends, we may come home every 6 months, but we speak to them very often.
But one place where there is connectivity issue is Siachen. So, Captain Chauhan, what about your friends and family? When they came to know that you will be deployed in Siachen, what was their reaction like? And tell us about the nature of your work in Siachen.
Ma'am, about the friends and family, they were really proud of me, ma'am, as being the first here to get deployed. And ma'am, regarding the nature of work here is I am the engineer officer, ma'am. So here we do all the engineering tasks which are required for this terrain, ma'am.
Okay. Major Parag, you have just said that you have to be battle ready in 5 minutes. It is a very challenging terrain. Would you have wanted to be posted somewhere else, or being posted in Kashmir is a matter of pride for you?
It is such a great pride, What real operation means is only you see in J&K. The tough conditions and serving the nation at its front line. I think I'm highly satisfied with the work I'm doing there.
Okay. Captain Chauhan, what about you? You are serving in minus 30, 40. What is it there, the temperature? That's going to be extremely tough. It requires a great degree of acclimatization as well before you would have got posted.
Ma'am, to take any of the challenging appointments in this sort of challenging terrain, the most important is, ma'am, to be an officer or a soldier, one must be aware about his or her responsibilities, the task, the men under the command, and the terrain, ma'am. We must be well versed with the terrain, its aspects, its operational aspects, how it is going to behave, how we should prepare ourselves.
Is it tough stepping out and carrying out your daily routine there?
Ma'am, we have been trained adequately in our academies and the pre-course training, where they make us effective enough to get employed in such terrain, ma'am. So it balances it all.
And Major Bina, you said that it was overwhelming. We were looking at those pictures and it was disturbing at the same time. You were in the middle of the tragedy. How many women officers were there in general? And when you came back home, you had the Prime Minister interact with all of you. And he had certainly said that women bring that empathy which is needed when you deal with a tragedy of this nature.
Yes. So in my team, in our 99-member team, I was the only woman lady medical officer that I'll say. But other than me, there was other teams of NDRF also, and they had women working there. Like it was a cumulative effect from everyone. And I was lucky that I was part of my team, that I got the opportunity to go there. And usually you see, like in a hospital setup or anywhere you go, females are usually, they're more comfortable telling their problem to a lady officer because they are more comfortable and they can share their problems without hesitation. So in that part, I was kind of very lucky to help them, to assist them in like so many female patients in a medical term.
Comment on this, Major Barak. These roles that all of you are, once upon a time were largely male-dominated spaces, but all of them have opened up by the army to women. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely. Recently they opened up the doors of NDA to women. It is such a great historic decision, Even recently when the flying was opened up in army aviation for women. So the society is changing, the generation is changing, and they're recognizing us at every step.
And Captain Chauhan, you're the only woman who's posted there. How many men are there, and does being the only woman make it special, or is it more tough?
Ma'am, regarding my male counterparts who all are there, ma'am, they are very cooperative and welcoming. And it is I guess if I'm here, it is the support of the Fire and Fury Corps, the Siachen Brigade, the faith and the support from my Surasu Engineer Regiment, ma'am. All the male counterparts, the officers, the soldiers who are deployed here with me, they all are very welcoming and supportive in each and every respect, ma'am. And ma'am, regarding my routine, ma'am, here are the many engineering tasks which we have to perform. We have to stand on ground and work with the men.
I have just enough time now for Captain Diksha and a couple of more questions for others. Captain Diksha, do you think it takes a lot being women and being fearless at the same time? Although I met a lot of women at INS Hansa recently, where I traveled for a show, and they had the same very strong sentiment of serving the nation.
I wanted to do something that would make a difference. I wanted something challenging and unique. And I wanted to give back to the nation. I wanted to make a difference in the nation. I wanted to serve our motherland. That is the driving force. It always keeps me going.
And what about you, Major Ruchi? What will be your message to all young girls who want to break that glass ceiling?
Army definitely is progressing, and whatever bastions have been broken so far. So every small step is like a milestone being hit. And when we are hitting those milestones, it definitely fills you with immense pleasure, immense pride. But then at the same time, there are enormous challenges that come with it. You have to prove yourself. You have to prove your mettle here. You cannot lower your standards. You cannot just not meet the expectations of the organization and what that particular role expects out of you. So I personally feel, yes, apart from the respect and pride and the opportunities that we have been fighting for, we also have to equally prepare ourselves to meet those challenges to the level that the organization demands. And that is where we are talking about when we talk about parity. It is not just giving us an opportunity for parity. It is all about coming up to the standards as well.
And Major Tiwari, overall, when you look at your own journey in the Indian Army, is there satisfaction, or are there any more glass ceilings you want to break?
I joined Indian Army because it was my ambition. I'm a third generation Fauji. I belong to an army family, I'll say. I grew up in that environment. So from the very start in my school journey also, my only aim was to be in army, be it as a doctor or in any other arms. So I'll say that after joining Indian Army, after my graduation, when I joined it, from that time to till now, I've been very satisfied with the organization, and I'm getting whatever I thought of, like whatever I thought I'll do in army. I have experienced all of that. So I don't see there's any loophole, because you see, Indian Army is very dedicated to their women officers, and they provide them with all the comfort, and they make sure that no privacy of theirs is breached, and they take care of their women officers very, I'll say, very nicely. So I have never felt anything is required. Like they are already doing a lot for us. So there's nothing else is required. There's no loophole in Indian Army as such, even if I can think of. Sometimes because we chose this profession, and Indian Army, in army, you see, we have to, sometimes we get deployed to some locations, some remote areas, field areas, where we have to face some challenges, but we are aware of that because we chose this profession. So we are aware how to handle that. And other than that, as a lady officer, just to make sure that their privacy is not breached, that is being taken care by the Indian Army. So.
And Major Barak, I'm going to give you the last question. What is going to be your message to all those young women who want to follow in your footsteps and perhaps do something that they will get a chance to be posted in Jammu and Kashmir?
Oh, thank you so much. I would just like to say to follow your passion, be it anything. And it is not difficult once you know what you want in life, then the hard work follows. You can achieve anything and everything. You have to make choices and grab every opportunity. So just keep going.
So thank you so much for your time, Captain Shiva Chauhan, Major Ruchi Agarwal, Captain Diksha. We also had Major Beena Tiwari and Major Abhilasha Barak. Thank you for sharing your experiences and your life stories. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.
Democratic. There was one attempt in 1975 when the emergency was imposed, but people of India resisted fiercely. And rule of law, the constitutional law prevailed again. Our government has tried from the day one to ensure that all those unreached people are reached. All those left out people are connected. Every part of our country, every citizen is a beneficiary of every welfare step taken by the government of India.
देश होली का त्योहार मना रहा है। राहुल गांधी जी विदेश यात्रा पर हैं। कोई त्योहार हो तो देश में नहीं विदेश में पाए जाते हैं, और विदेशी दोस्त हों, विदेशी एजेंसियां हो या विदेशी जमी हो, देश पर प्रहार करने से कहीं बाज नहीं आते। ये अपने आप में दिखाता है कि वो भारत को बदनाम करने में कहीं पीछे नहीं रह रहे। भ्रम फैलाना, झूठ बोलना, देश के बारे में देखिए आज दुनिया क्या कहती है। यहाँ पे इटली की प्रधानमंत्री आई तो उन्होंने आके कहा मोदी जी की विश्वसनीयता, उनकी लोकप्रियता दुनिया भर में बढ़ रही है, उनकी मांग बढ़ रही है। मोदी जी मेजर लीडर के रूप में दुनिया ने स्वीकारा है।
We're crossing over to CNN News 18's Pallavi Ghosh, who's our senior editor. Pallavi, can you take us through the war of words that's erupting yet again over Rahul's comments made in the United Kingdom?
So as far as Rahul Gandhi goes, and the Congress party is but naturally defending him, saying that what's wrong in what he's saying, because he's essentially showing the mirror and something which the world is very much aware of. So to sum up, in the last 3 to 4 lectures that he's already given, whether it's a university press conference addressing the Indian diaspora or even the British Parliament, he certainly has said that institutions in our country are crumbling, democracy has been compromised, and anyone who raises a point or asks a question of the government is targeted. Either their mics are switched off, they're not allowed to speak inside Parliament, or there are cases which are applied against them. He gave he gave an instance of himself also, that there were multiple criminally liable cases which shouldn't have been filed, but they were filed against him. I think.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan. Ladies and gentlemen, Congress MP from Wayanad, Rahul Gandhi, continues his tirade on foreign soil, which many are alleging, including the BJP, is not just against the current establishment run by the BJP and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but it is also detrimental to Bharat. One of the attacks that Rahul Gandhi has now waged is against the RSS. He has been sharp against not just RSS, but also the principles of RSS. He has questioned RSS' peg of Hindutva and RSS's Rashtra Niti, or its dreams of a Hindu Rashtra.